Hi everyone, Sunstrider here, and today we are going to talk about something exciting from Honkai Star Rail as they're going to release patch 1.1. I just watched the special program and boy, the 3 new playable characters seems to be a better pull in terms of usability and provide better support and value to your team. The new 3 units are Silver Wolf, Luocha, and Madame Yukong. The special program also introduced brand new events for players to enjoy, but we are here today not going to discuss that, but more specifically dive into the 3 playable characters. But before I begin, please note that the content showed on the special programs is still in development, so please enjoy it with a grain of salt. Okay, the first one, Silver Wolf. Actually, we've used her before during the first few minutes into the game, but of course without any clear context or details on what she does. On the special program, she was announced as an agility unit that, as we know from this path, mainly plays as debuffer. I think she'll become such a valuable unit because she can apply a weakness that matches a random ally attack type. The other good thing about this very skill is that Silver Wolf can create a weakness based on her ally's strength when no one in her party has an attack type that corresponds to the enemy weakness. This is super valuable because on certain stages we are not going to bring units with certain attack type, or let's say like me, I don't have an imaginary attack type and tend to avoid battle when it comes down to fighting imaginary enemies. With her release, I can simply bring her and fight with my best team composition and enjoy the fight. But of course, the attack type will be chosen randomly, so let's just pray that you'll pick the one from your DPS. As that is not enough, Silver Wolf can also deal random debuff on her basic attack from reduce attack, reduce defense, and reduce speed. Might not be the best selling point for her, but hey, it's random debuff and say you get that reduced defense debuff and you can deal more damage. Next on the line is Luocha. I think he's the only healer and debuffer that we are going to have in the game, and his existence is crucial for the endgame. We'll get to that point later, but first thing first, his skill. As a healer, obviously, his skill is going to heal your team. The only difference is that when your ally's HP falls to a certain percentage, Luocha can automatically trigger heal onto his allies without consuming skill points. This can only be triggered again after a certain turn. Now, if you think that this is something brand new, I'm sorry to say this, but Natasha's skill works the same way, with only difference in her is when her health falls 30%, she only heals herself. After unlocking certain traces, using the healing skill also dispel the buff from an ally. His ultimate, That Wish, will remove one buff from and deal imaginary damage to all enemies. This is a nice twist to the Abundance unit because looking at current healers in the game, they all only focus on healing. Does that mean he lacks another healing capability? Of course not, my friend, because he is a 5-star unit. Whenever Luocha uses his skill and ultimate, he grants himself 1 stack of Abyss Flower. After a certain stack, Luocha deploys a field against the enemy for a certain number of turns that allows your ally to heal whenever they attack. After unlocking certain traces, his attack in the field will restore ally HP. Talk about an offensive healer. Oh, did I tell you about his technique that allows him to deploy this field at the start of the battle, providing a nice sustain for your team? I did mention that he is going to be a nice healer to the end game contents, and that's with a reason. With the number of difficulties that we can clear in the game content, let's say Echoes of War and Simulated Universe, the future updates possibly bring a longer fight where your main goal aside from dealing damage is to survive. Considering that not everyone has Beiju in their team to revive a downed ally, then getting yourself a healer that can provide heals outside of the healer's turn will be such a nice value to your team. On top of that, I'm thinking of higher instance difficulties where your unit will be outspeed by the enemy and receive more blows from them. Taking this into consideration, then Luocha along with his skill is one of the best options that you can go to. Last but not least, Yukong. As he treads the path of harmony, her role will be focused on providing buff to your party. Her skill, Emboldening Salvo, will increase your ally's attack. Her ultimate, on the other hand, deals imaginary damage to a single target. This ultimate can be enhanced when she has her Roaring Bowstring active, which then increases crit rate and crit damage of all allies. I personally didn't really care that much with her kit, mainly because of how well my Qingyuan is performing. The number one reason why, I guess it's because as a buffer, I don't know the multiplier of her skill and ultimate. Perhaps once I know it, then she can change my mind. That's it for today's video, guys. Simple and straightforward, but exciting enough for you to get your Stellar Jade ready, especially if you have pulled for Jingyuan recently. Talking about Jingyuan, I think people who don't pull for him see this information as great news because if they really think about the end game, then this banner simply provides better value. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited to welcome this banner and agree that this banner bring better overall value? Comment below and let's discuss.